So this is the army I'm going into battle with. We're going to Shiloh. The enemy has 51-3 and 164 guns. My army is basically 20,000, and then I'm going to get 14,000 allied troops. So I'm just jumping right into the battle. Skipped all the maneuver stuff in the beginning. And the AI charges on his left, and I catch him in the water. Fortunately, he wants to fire at a skirmisher unit while all my units fire into his flank. It's a nice way to start. Now what I notice is the enemy unit is very large. 27, 28, 2900. And that is because it's scaling to my allied units. My allied units are all oversized. Well, not all of them, but a lot of them are oversized in the 3000 range. And so the AI is scaling to that. So I'm going to face very large units in this battle. And I'm really concerned because at this point, I don't know if my small unit strategy is viable. Not only are my units small, but they're carrying 1842s. So yeah, so I skip ahead. There's a little jump ahead in time while the rest of the enemy army comes up. And here they come. And I'd like to catch these guys in the water and get some shots off. But look at the XP these guys have on Major General. These guys, 2-star, 3-star units coming at you. Now that's better than Legendary when they all seem to have 3-star units, but this is still pretty tough. Lots of good units, and the thing that I'm noticing is he's got Cav, and I want to take shots on the Cav. But the thing that I'm noticing is all my infantry is on this flank. And that's going to be a problem. And I'm trying to shift my units around. You might have noticed that I had my unit in the woods fall back a little bit so he didn't get caught in melee. That will often keep the enemy out of melee if you just fall back a little bit. My reinforcements are coming in now, and I notice they're all infantry. That is a huge problem. I tried to be clever and outthink the AI, trying to get my infantry and artillery spread out evenly between the two flanks. Well, that went right into the trash can. Didn't happen. All my infantry comes in on this flank, so all my artillery is going to come in on the other flank. At this point in the battle, I know this is going to be a disaster, and I'm thinking, I'm probably going to have to replay Shiloh. I mean, this is going to be a catastrophe. So anyway, the good news is that at this point, the entire enemy army seems to want to be in the water. And yeah, complete. I can do that. I can make sure that the enemy, the enemy's in the water, and I can get extra casualties inflicted on them. I'm trying to take shots at the commander. That doesn't work very well. He escapes. So anyway, I spend a lot of time, as you know, hitting the pause button and issuing commands because you have to micromanage in this game. I've edited that out in this video because it's not really necessary. The units are just moving around. All of my units, as usual, are on run so that they turn and fire faster. That's something I highly recommend you do. Have your units turn and fire faster. So I'm just trying to get everybody to kind of gang up on the enemy and get shots into them, especially the ones that are in water, where they have zero cover, to inflict as many casualties as possible. Now my overall plan is to fall back. I like fighting a retreating battle where I retreat to one defensive line after another. I can do that and take very few casualties while inflicting large casualties on the enemy. So that's my ideal. That's my idea. And what I want to do is I want to fall all the way back to Pittsburgh's Landing. I'm going to get 14,000 Allied reinforcements. As you know, they come in 2 batches. The first batch is maybe, 6,000. And then you get the balance pretty late in the day. And my objective is, my original plan is to fall back and fall back and fall back and eventually fall all the way back to Pittsburgh's Landing for when the last batch of Allied troops come in, and then begin a counterattack with the Allied troops. It doesn't work that way because I get greedy, and I get really greedy. Oh, here I'm trying to kill the commander again. I always take shots on the commander. That is one of the most powerful things you can do to hurt the enemy army. And so trying to get these guys to shoot. Come on, man. Artillery, everybody, fire at this guy. Take him out, take him out, take him out. Come on, fire. And come on. And he's dead. So that is a huge deal. Killing the commander is a huge deal. So now his units won't be able to recover morale quite as well. And on the left, you see the guy is partially in the water. He's got 0 cover. And even my 1842s can rack up a lot of kills. And that's exactly what they're doing. They're racking up a lot of kills, and eventually he gives it up. So, yeah. On the right, that's a 3-star unit. And that guy's just a pain in the neck. But at least the commander's dead, so the morale of all these units is just going to degrade. So one thing you can do is fall back, and the enemy will chase after you. And so you'll see me do that at several points, where I will fall back and the enemy will advance. Like right now, he's got, what, 3, 4 units in the water? So that's terrific. Now, this unit right here, I have no idea why that damn unit charged forward into melee. I've now watched him do that several times, and maybe I need to look at the video again, but obviously I told him to shoot at someone who I can't even see, who's off the map, and he charged, and your infantry will do that. Your infantry will charge forward trying to get a shot on someone who's on the other side of the map. And yeah, and I think that's what happened. And so I lost that unit for the next 20 in-game minutes, which is just... Yeah, you have to look at the AI as not just a really stupid commander, but as a spy in your army who's trying to make sure you lose. So, because the AI is so bad, so awful, so god-awful at commanding your units, that it's not just bad, it's suicidal. It's like there's someone in your army trying to get everyone killed. It's not just an awful commander. It's working against you at every step. So you have to micromanage your units. And if you take your eye off your units for a second, the AI will issue commands to your units that will just get them killed for no purpose. So anyway, trying to get my cav, dismounted cav. I've dismounted them. And they're firing into a unit that's in the water. Nothing but great, nothing but XP. Loving it. Yeah, everyone's piling up experience. This is going really well, but I know that, man, the attack on the other flank is going to be a disaster. So I backed off a little bit, trying to lure him into the water. He jumps into the water on the left, and yeah, going to bleed him to death. Now on the right, the big problem is you don't have a supply wagon, so people are going to run out of ammo. So the thing I do is I make sure I swap out guys who don't have ammo, and you get some reinforcements and they do have ammo. So you have to swap those guys out. And if you've played this battle, you know that some units are going to have to move to your left. And I know, playing this right now, that I'm not going to have any infantry on my far left flank. So half of these units are going to have to go over to the left eventually, and I'm down to like 17 minutes and I haven't gotten anybody to move yet, and that's bad. So I'm having everybody advance on the commander right now. You know, come on, take a shot, kill him, kill him, kill him. Everybody needs to shoot at that commander and take him out. He's in the water, and come on, die. So I'm willing to take some casualties, and he's dead. So I've now killed 2 of his core commanders. That's absolutely huge. With any luck, that's all he's going to get on his left, which means his left is going to be really weak. And that's just great. So he charges into the middle with a couple of good units. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units. I have to fall back. If he charges and gets into melee with my unit, I'm in trouble. So I fall back a little bit, he stops, takes some shots in the flank, and great. Now he has an artillery unit, you'll notice on the far south part of the board. That guy can fire flank shots into my infantry in the woods. So I detach, this is a trick that you can use. I detach a skirmisher and advance him so that the artillery will waste its shots on that skirmisher and not fire into the flank of my infantry unit. So, yeah, I have lured another one of his infantry units on the left side of the map, and I have 2 infantry, 1 cav, and a skirmisher unit. No, there's another unit, infantry. Yeah, and all I have to do is make sure that that skirmisher unit doesn't, aim at somebody to the right or left and get wiped out. Meanwhile, on kind of the center, everything's going real well. And so that battle, everything went great. But look at this on this flank. This is a disaster. I mean, this is absolutely a disaster. I'm seeing 1, 2, 3 infantry and a bunch of artillery. Yeah, oh, and I have some skirmishers. I really wanted these skirmisher units on the other side. I wanted them on the other flank. My snipers, my sniper units. So my sniper units, this is a terrible position. But my thought is, well, let's just fight it out and see what happens for a while. And then we'll just retreat. We'll just let them take the victory locations and retreat. Get some infantry from the other flank to move to the Hornet's Nest, and we'll be fine. So all I have to do is not get into melee, not let him bust through my line, not let him take shots on my artillery. So, it's okay. We can get some good shots on him. So here he comes, and okay, his units are still oversized, as you can see, and that's going to be a problem in every battle where I have allied units that are oversized. So yeah, I'm going to have to, I'm thinking, how many battles are there where I have oversized allied units? Because that's going to screw up scaling against me. I don't want to face a bunch of enemy units that are 2 and 3 star and 2,900 men. I want the enemy to scale to the size of my units, my core units, which are going to be somewhere 12, 13, 1,400. So yeah, I guess I have the choice that I can have the allied units do most of the fighting, maybe, but in every case where I have oversized allied units, I can see that the small army strategy is going to be, it's going to be painful. It's going to be more difficult. But so far, my army's done okay. So if I can hold out here, get through this phase, this battle can still be, it's salvageable. And I know that I have 14,000 more men coming into the battle. That'll take me up to 35. The enemy has 52. I win. So, and then tomorrow I'll have another 10,000 come in, and easy victory. So I'm looking at this right now. This situation looks bad, but it's not as bad as it looks. It's right now I'm thinking this is an easy victory. It's just a matter of how many kills am I going to get. And it's right now that I shift from thinking about, can I win this battle with small units, to how do I get the maximum number of kills possible? And that's what I'm thinking about. And I'm thinking, we'll fight here as long as there's an advantage, and there is a huge advantage. Even though these enemy units are large, like right here, for example, oversized enemy units, he's in water, 0 cover, my units have nice cover, and I can just rack up kills. And if he advances, he's going to go up that very steep hill very slowly, take casualties, and walk right into a battery of artillery that's going to inflict more casualties, giving my artillery more experience. And yeah, things are not bad. This is not awful. So I can milk this for as long as possible, and when I get tired of milking it for XP, and right now I'm just seeing free XP, I fall back. Let him take the victory locations. The timer will run out. That's what I'm thinking. So, yeah, just piling up the kills. You don't want these snipers to overlap. They have to have, like, completely un-overlapping front. And, yeah, let's just get everybody getting... I mean, this is just... Let's do this for an hour. I mean, this is cool. Look at that. Look at that. He's just standing there taking casualties. And he's got to have, I mean, that's got to be at most 25 cover, but probably 0. It's just, I can do this all day. So, but I know the rest of his army is going to come in and it's going to be overwhelming. So, yeah. I maybe should have turned the artillery off because that dropped his morale and made him retreat. I maybe could have, I don't know, extended that time and gotten some more free shots for my snipers. Yep, I can see the rest of his armies coming in, and I know it's coming. Everybody knows what's coming. There's going to be, I mean, look at the red bar compared to the blue bar. There's a monster army coming in, and these units are going to be large, and it's Major General. And I'm turning off my artillery to save ammo, which I'm going to run out of probably. And yeah, he's going to come in with, you know, it's not all 50,000, but it's going to be enough. Yeah, the percentage of red bar to blue bar at the top is terrible, and that is the one advantage of having 4 perks in recon, is that you can see where you are. I mean, I would know how terrible this is even without the bar because I've played this battle a few times, but you can really see how lopsided this battle is right now. It is impossible. So, and now I notice what comes in as my reinforcements, more snipers and some 6-pound artillery batteries, and yeah, that's terrible. I was hoping that at least 1 or 2 infantry units would come in. If I'd gotten 2 or 3 infantry units, even well, 1842s would have been the best I could have hoped for, but even farmers, I would have tried to have, I would have given holding this position a go. I would have tried to have put up a defense and drag out the fight as long as possible. But right now, not only is this impossible, but I'm worried that I can't even protect my artillery. That's a lot of artillery, very vulnerable artillery, and I don't have infantry that can put up any resistance to a concentrated attack. So yeah, the only thing I can do is try to get some more coverage by detaching skirmishers, and with snipers and detached skirmishers, try to slow these guys down. But I mean, look at this. Oversized. He has oversized infantry units and 3 stars. I see 2 3-star units. My 180 men not going to do very much. 6-pound cannons, some snipers. There's an 1842, 1,000 men, 1842s. This is really, really hopeless. And yet, my thought is, well, let's make him pay for it. Let's see if we can't make him pay. So yeah, that's my Sharps 55s, my crappy range, do very little damage, little skirmisher unit. He gets right into the battle, facing a almost 3,000 man, 3-star unit. Pretty much ridiculous odds. Yeah, and the 6-pounders are firing, doing whatever they can do. But my God, this is just one unit, and it's completely lopsided. There's no chance. And he has, I don't know how many more of these, 10 more of these on the way. And this is just, this is the mouse that roared. I mean, this is just hopeless. So yeah, what I should do is actually just let him take the flag as quickly as possible, fall back, let him take the flag. But I'm thinking, well, let's have a fighting retreat and see how that works. But man, if he gets my one and only infantry unit into melee, this is going to be over fast. And he can wipe out, half of the units that are on the map right now if he charges. Yeah, okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 infantry units on his right attacking Well, nothing. I have nothing over there. A couple of snipers and one undersized infantry unit. So, yeah. So he takes the flag, which there was no way I could stop him from taking the flag, which is okay. Now begins a countdown timer. I have 30 minutes. I have 30 minutes. So, want to preserve the artillery, get the artillery in a position to retreat. Yeah, get everybody ready to fall back. So I want my infantry and snipers to hold, to slow the enemy down, which we can do while the artillery falls back and gets safely out of the way. And, get them to the edge of the board. So what I always do is I have my artillery start to move anyway toward the end of this phase, because I need them to get back to the hornet's nest as quickly as possible. And yeah, it's the infantry unit I have on the far right side of the map. I turn him off from firing because he can just sit there quietly and then quietly fall back and stay out of the battle. He can provide some recon over there. He's okay right where he is. The only way he'll get in trouble is if the enemy sends cav over there trying to sneak around my flank, which occasionally happens. But I'm betting that he can sit there in the woods and just provide recon of what the enemy has, which might be useful. And then he can fall straight back when the map opens up. So yeah, have my artillery ready to go. Just need the timer to count down. And I notice it's like 14 minutes, and then it clicks off, and that's it. So the artillery, notice where the artillery is. It doesn't have so far to go. They're in really good shape. I hit pause and I tell everybody where to go, and I give my on my right, the enemy left, all his units are in full retreat because they got hammered pretty hard and they're crushed. I have my infantry fall back as fast as possible. My artillery, notice my artillery is already in position, or getting in position. I have some reinforcements coming in. So yeah, this is great. That unit getting caught in the open is not great, but okay. Because I won so big on my right flank, I have time to get my infantry moved over to support the other flank, the reinforcements coming in. This is all going well. The other thing I have to do, and that you'll have to do if you play this, is that you get your supply wagons. You've got to get those supply wagons as quickly as possible over to the right flank. So, yeah, the enemy is charging really hard toward the flag, and I don't really mind that. I'm perfectly content to give up the flag on the right side, but my units win. So yeah, but I'm not intending to hold the flag. I want to fall back to the flag, and then you see there's an open area, and fall back to another line. I want to fall all the way back to Pittsburgh's Landing. So there's a big open area. I'd like to fall back in there and have the enemy attack into that big open area that on the right side. I don't intend to hold this, but I'm going to make the enemy fight his way across there, and he just doesn't. So same thing over on my left, the enemy right. I want to set up a forward defensive line and catch him in the open area, that big open area, and inflict losses on him. And then when he pushes me back, I'll make him fight for the hornet's nest. Again, inflicting casualties, nice artillery, getting canister fire, and then fall back again because there's a nice bit of water and more open area. There's another great defensive line on the other side of that. So my plan is just to keep falling back. But my first big batch of reinforcements, Allied reinforcements, have already come in, and he still hasn't pushed me anywhere near the hornet's nest. So if I get those 3 units up on my left flank, I can hold this line for a while. It's a good defensive line. We can stand here and fight, and I'll fall back later. My supply wagons are getting up. My units are getting supplied. on the right, if he wants to keep standing in the water in zero cover and taking lots of casualties, I'm happy to keep racking up kills. And apparently he's content to do that. Look at it. He's just standing in the water, taking casualties. And yeah, we'll do that for a while. But I'm preparing to fall back to the next defensive position. So here he comes charging in. I think, well, maybe he'll push me back to the hornet's nest. And okay, that's fine. And maybe he'll take that little clump of woods looking at the map, to the right of the hornet's nest. But my units get into the woods first, and he doesn't take it. So, you know, he is in the woods now on the other side of the water firing into my cav. Okay. I would like to get some infantry up into that area to inflict casualties on him as he crosses across that little water. He has 2 infantry units in there right now. If he just advances, there's no way I can stop him. And that's what I plan on happening. But look, my infantry, my allied unit, gets into the woods. He doesn't push across the water. So, okay. So I just want to be in position for when he pushes, so I get to catch him when he has zero cover, and he doesn't. He stops. So, okay, I'll wait on him. I'm not going to give the ground up. I'm going to make him fight at a disadvantage for every inch of ground he takes. But I don't intend on holding anything. I intend on inflicting casualties. Every step he takes, I want to bleed him to death. And that's what's happening. My artillery is in good position. I expect him to launch really aggressive charges. His units are all a lot bigger than mine. Between 2,500 or 2,000 maybe. I'm looking at 2,000 to 2,900. His units, look awfully large. My units are pretty undersized. I'm looking at units with maybe 900 to 1,200 men. His units, I'm seeing a lot of 3-star units. I'm seeing a lot of 2-star units. And my units, of course, are not that good. Yeah, but as I'm going around, like I'm looking at my sniper unit, ton of kills. My 6-pounders are, that's a 6-pounder. So I want to get him right up on the front line. He's going to get some kills. If that enemy unit just stands there in the open, that 6-pounder is going to do great work. Not a problem. I have 1 dead officer, and so when you have a dead officer, you need to merge a unit that has a live officer into it so that that unit has an officer. Never let units walk around without officers. And having this small unit size strategy, that's really easy to do. If everyone has 2,500 men, you can't merge units, but with these undersized units, it's easy. If I lose an officer, I just merge a unit that has an officer into that unit, and now no problem. Because there's a huge command penalty if you have a unit that doesn't have an officer. So right in the center here, 2 units in good cover. I can't hold that if he really pushes hard, but if he wants to stand there and exchange shots, that's great. He's now charging. And I'm thinking he should win this. But my units are getting nice canister shots. My infantry unit in melee. 4 artillery units firing canister, though. He's not going to win this. And he's going to get pushed back with a lot of losses. And that's what happens. He ends up taking a ton of casualties. Over here on my far left, I have this little, I mentioned this before, this little Sharps 55 unit just does great work. That's an oversized cav unit, and he's in the right place. Of course, that cav unit wants to get around behind my army. This is a good time to mention, I consider my cav units to just be monsters on the battlefield. And his units are, like that cav unit right there is worthless because it's attacking an infantry unit to the front. But if that unit gets into the rear of my army, it's going to be devastating. So I need to keep that unit out of the rear of my army. Anyway, this is a good place to end part 1, and we'll go to part 2, and I'll show you how I take care of my left flank, destroy that cav unit, and win the day. Thanks.